Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't, if they're healthy, go out there and continue to be one of the best offenses in the league. Now, this 106 defensive rating to me is very, very, very surprising. I don't know if that has more to do with um who they're playing in this schedule. I would have to go over the opponents again, but for them to be one of the best defenses over these past 10 games,
So they ended up
very
beating.
impressive.
So they ended up beating the Lakers. They held them to 117. They lost to the Warriors. They ended up beating the Nuggets. They held them to 87. They lost to Cleveland. They ended up beating the Magic. They held them to 97. They beat the Wizards. They gave up 115 against them. They held Philly to 93, which was nuts. They came in and got
destroyed. No Embiid.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nuggets didn't have anybody in that game either, but
sure,
it's still a win for everybody, obviously.
They went down to Memphis and smoked them. They held them to 97.
Yeah.
Dallas, they gave up 121 against them. They held San Antonio under league average. They only gave up 106 against them. The Pelicans, they held them under 100. Houston, they held them under 100. And the Hawks, they gave up 119 against them. Can this be sustainable with what's going on in Charlotte? Because I really didn't think that they had a plan, to be honest with you, in Charlotte. I just thought that they were just throwing stuff against the wall and seeing what can stick. We now have some health, which is not the issue, right? LaMelo Ball is healthy. Bridges is healthy. Brandon Miller with this shoulder injury, it looks like it doesn't seem to be a problem. They're not playing fast, but they're playing with a pace that works for them. On the defensive end, I think that they're getting on the glass and holding teams to one shot. That really helps. The question that I have is can they sustain the health? Because that's been the biggest issue with them. It hasn't been in terms of their game, because we haven't really seen these guys together for an extended period of time. That's the.
But are you asking, is it sustainable? Like, are they going to stay healthy?
That's what I'm asking. Can these guys stay healthy? That's what I'm asking.
None of us up here are degree doctors, so I can't speak on that. However, I will say, as far as what's sustainable on the court,
yeah,
I do believe so. I think if LaMelo Ball is playing to this degree and the version and style of basketball that he's playing, that's sustainable. Two wings that can get after it offensively, and Brandon Miller has been a better defensive player, and I will say Con Knipple is a better defensive player than I thought he would be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool. So you have two wings that can guard a little bit, hit outside perimeter shots, get after it in transition with Brandon Miller. You also have a spacing four in Miles Bridges. Now, he's probably going to be the odd man out for this team, and then they try to trade either for some draft capital or something to that extent.
Too, by the way.
And then you have Musa, who is, great in pick and roll with LaMelo. He can hit the boards offensively and defensively. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why they couldn't, if they're healthy, go out there and continue to be one of the best offenses in the league. Now, this 106 defensive rating to me is very, very, very surprising. I don't know if that has more to do with who they're playing in this schedule. I would have to go over the opponents again, but for them to be one of the best defenses over these past 10 games,
so they ended up
very impressive.
So they ended up beating the Lakers. They held them to 117. They lost to the Warriors. They ended up beating the Nuggets. They held them to 87. They lost to Cleveland. They ended up beating the Magic. They held them to 97. They beat the Wizards. They gave up 115 against them. They held Philly to 93, which was nuts. They came in and got destroyed.
No Embiid.
Yeah.
I mean, the Nuggets didn't have anybody in that game either, but
sure,
it's still a win for everybody, obviously.
They went down to Memphis and smoked them. They held them to 97.
Yeah.
Dallas, they gave up 121 against them. They held San Antonio under league average. They only gave up 106 against them. The Pelicans, they held them under 100. Houston, they held them under 100. And the Hawks, they gave up 119 against them.
Yeah, so it's definitely being inflated a little bit.
Yeah, they're playing
and all that. Yeah. But I didn't think they had to send them, either, real talk. Yeah. So I think that's also the other part of this. I didn't think they would have the I mean, honestly, it's like the connectivity, any of that. I mean, I thought Charles Lee's a good coach, but I didn't think he would ever get an opportunity to coach the lineup like he did. But look, I think this is a combination of LaMelo being healthy, a combination of Brandon Miller being healthy, which they have not had. But then, like I said, dude, like the fact that they have Con Knipple to like make all this stuff work. Diabate has been great this year, and obviously Mark Williams not taking up a lot of those minutes, I think it's opened up a lot of opportunity for him. And so that's really helped him, even though Mark is having a good year in his own right where he is. But I just think he's gotten an opportunity to be all the things that he wanted to be. Again, they're a plus 12 net rating in the last 15 games, which leads the NBA. They've been a top 5 defense in the last 15 games with the best offense. Is this sustainable long-term? Probably not. But you know what? Who cares? Like, this is a young team finding an identity and really finding out who we are and just how good we can be when we put our minds together and we're healthy and we're buying into the system and buying into what each other does to the best of our ability. And if they win their next game, y'all, having a 10-game win streak in the NBA, it's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, regardless, because I don't know about you, Real Talk. If you track your team, my team has never had a 10-game win streak. They had 9, but getting a 10-game win streak is huge. And being in a situation where you can say that, hey, we're in year 1 of Con Knuckle, we're really in year 2 of Brandon Miller, and y'all, they got to play versus Detroit. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all, they can absolutely beat Detroit at home because right now they're just playing more confident than anybody else in the league, and that's half of what it is. Half of winning games in the league is just confidence and effort.
And on top of that, Swiper, like, they're not winning games. Like, there's good teams that they've smoked. Like, they're not like beating teams in dogfights. There's good teams that they've destroyed. And I'm trying to make sense of it, and it's not like they walk into Charlotte like it's a Sunday afternoon in April and we're just gonna walk through the park and, well, we know we can't do that anymore with this team because of the defense that they play, because of how they rebound, because of how good LaMelo Ball can be as a ball handler, right? We know that these games aren't gimme games for us anymore. But I say that to say a team like Detroit, who also has been rolling, I mean, I think that they understand exactly what it is they're up against the Charlotte team, knowing that we got Charlotte in their building. They have no problem blowing us out if Cade can't get to the rim, if Cade can't score at the rim, if Cade doesn't take care of the basketball, if the long ball line becomes further away from the basket and guys like Duncan Robinson can't make shots. I mean, that's going to be a problem for them. So this is not a gimme game for Detroit, and I think Detroit knows that.
Yeah, if Detroit doesn't come into the building and play a good offensive game, you can lose to the Hornets. If you step on that court and you can't score points, which from time to time Detroit definitely struggles to, you're going to lose to the Hornets because even if you have a great defense, numbers say that they're still going to put up points. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if Detroit can't get to 110, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be an interesting game, man.
They are pretty hot, but I think it was like 2 weeks ago or something. I think was it 2 or 3 weeks ago? It had to be because the Knicks are 9-1 in their last 10. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were talking about how terrible the Knicks were, and I think maybe Real Talk. I think we was both on the side of just telling everybody to relax. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean that's another pretty hot team in the NBA as well, the New York Knicks. I know they got spanked by Detroit the other day, but besides that, the Knicks really been kicking some ass.
Yeah, they've been cooking lately.
Yeah, we got.
When we make a title about a team, they end up spiraling the other way. Whether that's positively when we talk about a team struggling, or negatively we talk about a team doing what. Charlotte might lose their next 6 games, and it'll be because of us. I'm gonna be honest, because that's just kind of what happens around here. So if they lose tonight, and then they end up going like a 3-4 game losing streak, it's our fault.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the hoes go ham. You ain't never seen hoops out here did raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.